An unexpected twist is beginning to gather momentum around Arne Slot. It raises fresh questions about his long-term future at Liverpool. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Reports emerging from the Netherlands claim that Ajax have made an initial inquiry as they search for a new long-term head coach. It's not a formal move just yet, but the fact Slot's name is being discussed at that level is significant, especially given the growing uncertainty surrounding his situation at Anfield. Slot is heading into the summer with just 1 year left on his contract, and while Liverpool's ownership group, Fenway Sports Group, are understood to still back him, there's an undeniable shift in the mood both inside and outside the club. Results have been inconsistent, pressure has quietly built, and now interest from elsewhere is beginning to surface. Dutch journalist Mike Verwij, speaking on the Kickoff podcast, revealed that Ajax have indeed explored the possibility. However, he was quick to downplay the likelihood of a deal, insisting Slot remains firmly committed to Liverpool for now, and crucially, isn't actively looking to make that move at this stage of his career. That stance appears to shut the door on Ajax, who are now expected to turn their attention to Girona boss Michel, a name Liverpool themselves considered during their search for a successor to Jurgen Klopp back in 2024. Still, the bigger story here isn't Ajax. It's what this says about Slot's standing. The fact he's even being discussed externally suggests he's not viewed as untouchable. And with his contract situation unresolved, his agent Rafaela Pimenta will inevitably be fielding interest behind the scenes. For now, the expectation both in England and the Netherlands is that Slot will remain and prepare for a third season in charge. But there are subtle signs that things aren't as stable as they once seemed. Recent reporting has indicated that Slot has begun reviewing his backroom staff, notably framed as "in the event of him staying." That wording alone hints at a shift. Combine that with Liverpool's poor run of form, including a damaging 3-2 defeat to Manchester United, marking their 19th loss of the season, and the narrative begins to change. There are still 3 games left, and Champions League qualification remains within reach. But beyond that, a full internal review is looming, one that could ultimately define Slot's future. Right now, he remains in position, but with outside interest emerging and pressure mounting, this is no longer a situation that feels completely secure. In this section of the video, we will go over our 5 biggest takeaways from our 3-2 loss to Manchester United. Whether you are Arne Slot in or Arne Slot out, Liverpool's latest defeat at Man Utd left no shortage of ammunition after a close comeback, but a lack of intensity. Number 1. Slot in or slot out. Fill your boots. It is fortunate for a fractured Liverpool fan base that no matter which side of the Arne Slot debate you sit on, there was plenty in this performance to go on. Those who want the Dutchman sacked can point at the 19th defeat of the season and an abysmal first half that proved foundational to it as proof he should be dismissed. For those who are more sympathetic, then the second half perhaps offered evidence that this group of players is still fighting for the manager and will be capable of more with some tweaks. What is for sure is that Fenway Sports Group know exactly where they stand, and so one of these 2 competing camps is going to get definitive proof of their excellent judgment next season. But after a 19th defeat of the season, it feels impossible to suggest with any confidence that those who favour retaining the manager will be right in the end. Number 2. Alexis Mac Allister is a problem. One reason that is hard to believe Slot will turn things around is because he doesn't always seem to recognise the biggest issues in his team. And key among them is Alexis Mac Allister, who put in another poor performance in a season that has seen little else from him. The Argentine was too slow to close down Matheus Cunha and provided a handy deflection for the opener, then teed up Kobbie Mainoo for a weak clearance for the third. In fairness, it was his press that helped Cody Gakpo score in between that, but that did not make up for the amount of times he was run past in an open Liverpool midfield. A manager who had noticed McAllister's weaknesses would have dropped him a long time ago for Curtis Jones, but instead, Slot seems determined to sell the latter after shifting him to right back. The reality is it should be Liverpool's number 10, who is up for sale this summer, with a direct replacement top of the priority list. Number 3. Hard not to worry about intensity. We can often fall into the trap of believing that if a team wins, then everything they are doing is right, and of course the reverse. But when Liverpool consistently produce limp performances lacking in physicality, then it would be mad for fans not to make a link to the lack of training time this season. Once again, Slot sent his charges out on holiday this week before they returned to the AXA to prepare to face Manchester United. And once again, they spent the first half looking unprepared and less sharp than the opposition, who tore into every challenge. There is sense in looking to manage load given the ridiculous calendar the players face these days, but it is surely fair to ask whether Liverpool are not giving their squad too much time off. Number 4, Rio Ngumoha shows his defensive inexperience. There is no doubt that most Liverpool fans spent much of the second half urging Slot to switch out Jeremy Frimpong for Rio Ngumoha. But they will not have expected to have been shown quite so quickly exactly why the manager had been reluctant to make that change, despite having the second most successful dribbles of any player. Minutes after being introduced, Ngumoha failed to track the Luke Shaw run that led to him crossing for Mainu to win the game, and no amount of promise in his performance at the other end can atone for that. This is of course not an attempt to slam a 17-year-old who is going right to the top of the game, but a reminder that his inexperience can prove costly in the unforgiving Premier League arena. Number 5. Arne Slot may have a point on Liverpool injuries this time. It has been surprising quite how often Slot has leaned on injuries as an excuse for how poor Liverpool have been for so much this season. Yes, the Reds have had problems, but Alexander Isak aside, the worst of them have concerned a right-back, fourth-choice centre-half, and a backup holding midfielder, not exactly key men. This was slightly different though, in that Isak was joined by Hugo Ekitike, Mohamed Salah, and Alisson on the sidelines, all of whom would likely have started here and impacted proceedings. For that reason, you suspect Slot will cite fitness issues in his post-match press conference, and, for once, have a point in doing so. However, his attempts to paint the campaign as a whole as injury hit will still rightly fall on deaf ears after overseeing a record equaling 19th defeat of the season. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.